Howdy everybody, BygPhattyPlus, and welcome back to the Big Man Plays The Longest Journey. Oh, it's a long journey. When last left off, we got sent to the library here to talk to this old fellow over here about some books we need.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
I never left your side. Oh boy.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
Looking for a story called The Silver Spear of Gorimon?
I'm looking for a story called The Silver Spear of Gorimon.
Yes, a fanciful tale if I ever saw one, but a charming one. Did you know that I'm often paid visit by adventurers wishing to read everything available on the spear so that they too can set out on their foolish quests?
Wait, why is the quest foolish?
Yeah, don't you just hate those adventurers?
Well, they pay for my bread, milk, and butter with their contributions to the coffers, so I shouldn't be too critical of them. But they care not about the books. They care only about what the books can give them.
I care. About the books, really?
No, you don't.
I can tell. So, the Silver Spear of Gorimon, then?
Yes. Okay. You're gonna just, okay. Oh boy, you should've just told me where it was and I would've got it myself. Anytime there, buddy. Okay, good. I think it's a book. Unless you're gonna club me with a frickin' piece of wood. No, that's a big book.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
But you couldn't just bring it to me? You couldn't just bring it to me?
I look like a serving maid.
Yeah, how about you take your serving maid butt and look at this book? Oh, we're gonna be reading The Silver Spear of Gorimon. In the glory days of BygPhattyPlus, before the drought, when Gorimon was the greatest city in the known world, the Parak of BygPhattyPlus decided to forge the most powerful weapon in the world to challenge the mighty White Dragon. The Parak had grown greedy and bored, his treasure hold filled with the riches of the world, and he desired nothing except the one thing he could never have, the unborn daughter of the White Dragon, the fairest, purest, most beautiful creature in the universe. He had asked the White Dragon for her daughter's hand in marriage, but she had refused, scolding him for his insolence and warning him to keep his distance from immortals. And so the Parak sought the advice of a mighty sorcerer, the dark and cruel Eos, to learn how to kill one of the giant kin. The sorcerer told the Parak of the white silver of Mount Tierney, the strongest substance in Arcadia, and how it could be forged by magic to kill even one of the kin. The Parak ordered his army to go north, across the ocean, and bring back enough white silver to shape a weapon. When his men returned with the rare metal, the Parak ordered the finest blacksmith in BygPhattyPlus to his castle, where Eos the sorcerer cast a spell to create an unholy forge. 10 days and 10 nights it took before the exhausted blacksmith could present a tall spear to his emperor. Before the spear could be used to kill one of the kin, it had to be bathed in blood. Beheading the poor blacksmith and the soldiers who had retrieved the white silver from the Mount Tierney, the Parak's private bath was filled with their blood. As he dropped the silver spear into the red bath, watched over by Eos, a terrible scream erupted, and steam rose up in a red, foul-smelling cloud. When the steam lifted, the blood was all gone, and the spear was glowing in a deep red color. With the terrible weapon now ready to be wielded, the Parak issued a challenge to the White Dragon, to either surrender her daughter to him for marriage, or to suffer a painful death at his hand. Enraged, the White Dragon refused him yet again, and flew to meet the Parak, his sorcerer, and his 1,000-strong army on the green fields outside Gorimon. Of the magic silver spear she knew nothing, and the Parak kept it wrapped in cloth by his side. Bring your forces around, Peric warned the White Dragon. If you do not, I will lay waste to them all. I wish my men no harm, lied the Peric, for this is between the two of us. He then rode forward, alone, and dismounted his horse, but stayed within reach of the spear. The White Dragon landed before him. She said, "You are brave to face me like this when you know you cannot harm me." Then the Peric reached a hand, as if to greet her, but was instead assigned to his sorcerer, the terrible Aeos, who cast a mighty spell to hold the White Dragon, while the Peric drew his silver spear. The White Dragon fought bravely. She was close to escaping the sorcerer's magic, but the Peric was quick, and he thrust the magic spear into her chest. She screamed in pain and anger, and the sorcerer's spell could no longer hold her. Rising on her beautiful wings, blood pouring down on the land below, she cursed BygPhattyPlus, her Peric, and her people for all time. Whenever the White Dragon's blood fell, the land turned arid and grass became sand. The Peric sent his army to follow the White Dragon and to bring back her egg. But the drought grew, and within days, the once proud empire of BygPhattyPlus was turned into a desert. Then following a fierce storm that tore across the land for 100 days and nights. And when the dust settled, there was nothing left of BygPhattyPlus but 2 coastal cities and a few scattered oases. It is said that in the buried ruins of a lost capital, wrapped in the arms of the Peric who dared test the immortal, rests the silver spear of Goramon.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Wait, what if I want to read it again? What if... Dang, man, you possessive of your books, jeez! Wait, okay. That's not where it goes! You're screwing up your whole Dewey Decimal System. You're screwing up your whole Dewey Decimal System. You done screwed it up. Now you're gonna lose that book. It's your fault you can't find books.
Oh,
you deserve
goodness.
that.
It's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
You really need to be more attentive of your surroundings.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
History of Mercuria would be interesting.
A book on the history of Mercuria would be interesting.
I needs to learn anything.
Ah, an extensive subject to be sure. I will do my best.
Do your best what? Waddle? Oh, here we go. Don't tell me he's gonna go all the way across the dang hall. Okay, good. It's like if he's gonna go all the way to hell over there, I'd been like, frick it! I'm done! I don't need it! I could get these books myself. I know he's old, but anytime, Pappy. Anytime. Could you get over here, please, Pappy? Please.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Oh my god, this guy irritates the living hell out of me. More reading. Travels in the Northlands by Jaren the Discoverer. I love that name. The first part. Oh no. How long is this? In my many years as a traveling poet and bard, I have journeyed far and wide across the fair realm of Arcadia, and I have seen sights most people have not dreamed. I have stood on the magnificent and terrible southern capes in the midst of winter, when the storms are at their fiercest, while waves as tall as the towers of Altaban washed over my frozen body. I have witnessed the monstrous beasts that lurk in those dark and deadly waters of the south, swallow brave galleons whole. Creatures the size of mountains, that with a flick of a tail can touch the depths of the sea and the stars themselves. I don't want to meet nothing that big, I'm just going to say that right now. I have crossed the great ocean from north to south and from east to west. Shut up, watch. And in the course have been stranded on desert islands with no sustenance but what I could gather from the sparse vegetation for months at a time. I have ridden the giant Elguan across Sha'angrian, the wasteland from Altaban to Monterba, and further south, where the Teruk, the oasis, are few and far between. and I have seen the shifting dunes above the ruins of Goromon, precious jewel of the Bakshivan. Empire, concealed for centuries by the coarse and treacherous sand. And I have journeyed far west, carried on goodwill and destiny by shadow ships, to the strange and unknown cliffs of a world unseen by most, a world of unfamiliar tongue and customs, a world of great wonder and mysticism. I have seen all this and more, but the fairest sights I still have seen in the lands of the north, from Arid to the border mountains, from Tyrian to the Bay of Fire. No sight can ever compare the dawn at Mount Tierney, looking out to the plains of Nedra, where the wild stallions run free in the thousands, and to look on the city of Coruscant, the Pearl of Fire, while the boiling sun sets in the ocean beyond. The salt waves reflecting dark yellow and red as they lap slowly upon the sandy shores, is an experience truly treasured and never forgotten. These lands are blessed by the Creator, shaped by men yet wild and free and fertile, home to the greatest cities, the most precious sights, and the most cultured and civilized people in Arcadia. Of all the fires I have rested my weary legs by, of all the taverns where I have learned the legends of tale spinners and memorized the songs of bards, of all the lands where I have wandered from city to village, it is to the Northlands I return time and time again to learn evermore. Join me now, for I will evoke you in the very emotions I first experienced when visiting the sights and treasures of the Northlands. Join me, and I will surely bring you there, to the exotic midst of the blessed land, and you will pine for its rugged coast and green woods, and its hardy people, and like me, you will never rest until you can return to yonder shores. Oh boy, this is some reading. Gonna get that reading voice working! Mercuria. Oh, Mercuria, thou unkempt diamond, of capitals thou art by truth the fairest. Thy counsel many seek, for knowledge kept within its centuries sought and gathered. By men wiser than the ages brought hither, by word of mouth, Mercuria, changed thou not for the course of war. Between thine people, diplomat, wise man, magician, all this and more, thou hast without equal the mark of merit and virtue. Written by Jeremiah Lutheran the poet. The august capital of Reed, the unified country, Mercuria lies on the hardy southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tyrian and Coruscant. It is a port of call for merchants, traders, adventurers, and pilgrims from all four continents, a place of commerce and diplomacy for millions of humans and other species. Reed is a strong and proud land perched between the plains of Nedra in the north, the land of Tyrian to the west, the great sea to the south, and the forests of the Northlands to the east, and inhabited by humans, Dolmari, Tyrian, Mole people, and Veneer. Reed was formed after Mercuria emerged as a major center for diplomacy and trade, and became the banner under which the surrounding lands united as one. Reed is a democracy, currently led by the Chief Counsel of the Reed Flag, Lord Yigvan Dellen. I probably butchered that name. The High Council, composed of ministers who govern by representation, resides in the Mercurian Hall of Assembly, flanked by the palace and the barracks. The Reedese are traditionalists, and their form of government has barely changed over the last few millennia. In high tongue, a Reed means unification, or assembly. Mercuria is one of the largest cities of Arcadia, the capital of Reed, and the center for trade, diplomacy, and cultural diversity. Populated by a large variety of races from human to Veneer, Mercuria has grown from its origins as a birthplace of humanity to a city of all Arcadians and the hub of the civilized world. Founded 20,000! Holy! That's a whoo! I don't think we have any place on on Earth that lasted that goddamn long. I think only a few thousand at best. 20,000 years ago. At the shore of the dead unconquerable ocean, it is the first known permanent settlement of the emerging human race. Initially left to its own devices by more developed races, Mercuria grew large and fat and wealthy. With newfound confidence, it passed through a period of expansion which gained it a reputation as a merciless aggressor, which soon brought violent attention from the Tyrant in the west and the Dolmari in the north. After years of war, Mercuria was decimated, and subsequently rebuilt with sufficient reinforcements to weather attacks from both sea and land. Peaceful times followed. whereupon Mercuria settled into the role it has in today's Arcadia. Although all surrounding areas fall under its jurisdiction, there is sufficient self-governing and few central taxes to appease all but the most disgruntled. The huge areas of farmland around the city benefit from the well-kept roads, markets, and the busy export to other lands. Nearby villages benefit from the military might of Marcadia, protecting them against roving barbarians and Tyran armies. And Mercuria also provides the people of the Northlands with one of the best and busiest ports in Arcadia, allowing travel to distant destinations around the world.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Well, jeez! Six, I just look away from the book. Let me thumb back through a page. You're like, no, you're done. Sorry, I need to take a drink after that. Whew! Alright. Hey, urine! Boogie!
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Oh, boy.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
I like this man, but at the same time, I hate him. How many more books do I have to... Ooh, Arcadian folktales.
I'd like to read some Arcadian folktales.
A favored topic of mine. I have just what you're looking for.
Oh, good. Please don't tell me you're going to have to go very... You jesters across the hall! Oh, good lord, it's going to take forever. While this man's walking, how y'all doing today? Oh, no, it's right there, okay. But how y'all doing today, viewers? I'm asking you a question if you could respond in the comments. How y'all doing today? I hope this video finds you well. I want to strangle this man. No one's going to answer that question.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
I hope someone answers the question. I would like to know how my viewers are doing. I would like to know. I care. Unlike other people, I genuinely care. Now let's read this dang book. Sadra, the faithful wife. Sadra was married to a brute of a man named Care. He's a brute, but his name's Care. Oxymoronic there. He was a bully who drank, cursed, gambled, and beat up his wife when he'd lost coins at the cups table. Someone I'd suplex! Still, Sadra treated Care with respect and care. She fed him when he was hungry, she made his bed and washed his back, and she lay down with him when he told her to. She never complained of her hardships to anyone, even though some days she woke up with bruises all over her body. Despite her husband's treatment, Sadra was a beautiful woman, with lovely dark hair and green eyes, and men would admire her when she went to the market for food at the town. At the town. Is that at or? Oh, well for water. But none dared approach her, fearing her dangerous husband more than they admired her beauty and grace. People would say, poor Sadra. She deserves better than what she has. She is so good and patient, even though her husband mistreats her every day. But no one was willing to do anything to free her from her husband, as they all feared his wrath. She chooses her own path, they would say, and it's not our duty to interfere. Then one day a tall and handsome prince rode into town to visit with the elder council. When he spotted Sadra carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well to her home on the edge of town, he was taken with her beauty and youth, and he jumped down from his horse to help her carry buckets home. On the way, he offered Sadra courtship. When told she was already married, he bowed respectfully and excused himself for acting inappropriately. That night, Sadra's husband heard about the prince helping his wife, and after striking her down for letting royalty interfere with her duties, he strode drunkenly, for he had already had his usual fill of dark ale, towards the tavern where the prince and his court were staying. When Care arrived at the tavern, the prince was eating dinner, and when told Sadra's husband was there to see him, the prince stood and waved the man close. "I must congratulate you on your good taste and merit," said the prince. "Oh, this ain't going to end well. Please tell me the next page says the man's gonna get stabbed, and I don't mean the prince. For your wife is the most beautiful and good-hearted woman I have ever met." And then he offered Care a seat and a mug of ale. But the angry husband did not appreciate the prince's advances, and he drew a sword and lunged at the prince before his guards could react. The prince was quick, and lucky to avoid certain death. And before Care could make a second strike, the prince had recovered his sword from where it stood by the wall and stood ready to fight the brute. Leave him be, called the prince when his guards drew arms and ran to protect their liege. This is between me and him. Smiling briefly, he nodded his head to Care and stood at attention. Obviously, his skill with the sword was formidable. Care, a coward at heart, knew that if he fought fairly, he would surely die. And he sheathed his sword, but loosened the knife he had tucked up his long sleeve. My pardon, Prince, said Care. My love for my wife is such that I am blinded by jealousy. I offer you friendship and apologies. He extended an open hand to the prince and smiled a broad lizard smile. The prince, unaware of the Care's mistreatment of his faithful wife, smiled back, put his sword down, and extended his own hand. Your apology is accepted, sir. Then suddenly Care's knife with his hand and moving in a bird toward the prince's exposed throat. Had it not been for the quick eye of a nearby guard, who with the broadside of his sword struck Cale on the side of his head, the prince would have been dead. The knife carved a deep scar on the prince's shoulder, but did no serious harm. Care was taken away to the town prison to be judged when the sun rose. His crime was surely punishable by death, especially if Sadra would testify to his cruelty in front of the judge. Free of Care's tyranny, the townspeople now spoke of Sadra's suffering by her husband's hand. But Sadra would not herself, even now, speak against her husband, and instead of being sentenced to death, Care was sent away to work the king's mines for 25 years. Taken with her faithfulness, the prince yet again offered Sadra courtship, but again Sadra declined, for she was still a married woman. Then, 1 year later, Care attempted to escape the king's mines by killing 2 guards and climbing the walls. But he was shot down with an arrow and died in agony and disgrace. Good! I'd have stabbed him right there. I'd have suplexed this man. I'd have wanted to... You beating your wife? Yeah, what you gonna... Whee! And then I would have took a massive battle axe and carved him in two. Again, the prince visited Sadra's town, bringing condolences and a renewed offer of courtship. And this time, Sadra agreed. Months later, the prince and Sadra were married in a glorious ceremony. And when the old king died, the prince became regent and Sadra his queen. She was as good a queen as the land had ever seen, and she was loved dearly until the day she died. And her funeral was the grandest and most tearful in memory. Dang! Dang! The children of the... Oh no, children of the lake. If this ends with children being drowned, so help me, I'm gonna hit something. I'm good. I don't have nothing to fling across the room here. Crap. There was a village by a lake where no couple had borne a child for 20 years. The villagers were desperate, for without children, their village would wither and die, and they turned to their god for help. Next morning, 50 young children rose out of the misty lake and wandered onto the shores, much to the joy of the childless... Ain't no one seen that movie with Christopher Reeve and the people who woke up and all the women were pregnant with aliens? Ain't no one seen that movie? We are yours, said one of the children, as long as you remember one thing. You are never to fish from this lake again. Instead, you must learn to hunt in the forest and live off the land. The villagers agreed, though they worried they might grow hungry, since they were used to catching and eating fish from the lake. But it didn't take long before they had taught themselves to hunt and grow wheat and potatoes in the fields. 18 years... It's going to end with someone not knowing. It's going to die. 18 years passed, and then one day an old man grew tired of rabbits and deer and potatoes and bread, and he longed to catch a big fish and cook it over a sizzling fire. He took his boat out to where the villagers would not see him, and he sank his line. Almost immediately, he caught a large trout. But as he was rowing back to shore, he saw the children of the lake wander from their homes back into the dark waters from whence they came. Their mothers called for them, tried to hold on to them, begged them not to leave, but they would not speak, and one by one they disappeared in the lake. The old fisherman then saw as the children sank into the murky waters how they turned into large fish and sped off into the deep. He was shameful then, and dropped his catch back in the water, but it was too late, and the village would forevermore remain childless. See,
Are you done?
that old man,
back for you.
that old man would have been lynched. Be like, we told you not to fish. Well, I wanted to fish. You know, there's an ocean no more than like a day's travel where you couldn't. I didn't want to. Thank you! We done lost all our kids because of your butt. You can kiss my butt, you dummy. Punk. Out the village with you! Boogity boogity!
Oh, goodness.
I'm
It's you
boogity,
again.
boogity, I don't care.
Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some more books?
Just irritates. I read all the
Oh,
books.
certainly.
I read all
What a
the
silly
books.
question.
Okay. I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask for.
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask
I
for.
read all three, so I guess it don't matter.
No matter. I know a great deal about most of the books in here. What topic intrigues you?
Oh. Well, the one story told me about the spear that can kill dragons. I need to find out which four magical people of Arcadia were given the piece of the stone disc. I need that.
I need to find out which 4 magical people of Arcadia were given a piece of the stone disc that serves as the key to the Guardian's realm.
The stone disc of the balance, yes? Yes. There could possibly be something on that in... let me check. Just one moment.
Hurry up. How y'all rate my story voice except when I screw up? Because I speak faster than I read. It's a problem of mine I need to work on. Alright, now is this gonna be the same dang book that I done read before? Don't make me read that one.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
What's this one? Oh. Chapter 16 in the 8th scripture, the scripture of breaking. Regarding the disc of the balance and the events that came about when the disc was broken. The scriptures tell us that the disc was kept at the Enclave for many thousands of years. Safely guarded from any threat by the respect held by every man and woman of the authority of the fathers. But with dissent came disobedience, and disobedience brought immorality, and immorality begat theft. Tyrant soldiers, aided by the sentinel traders, attempted to make away with the disc, but were thwarted by the whites of the kin herself, intervening, although forbidden to do so on behalf of the fathers. The disc was brought safely back to the Enclave, but the threat would linger in the minds of the minstrel and the vestrum. So it became that the disc was melted in the forge of the dragon's mouth, shaped into the elements of 4 magical people, and given to these respected people for safekeeping until such time it was decreed that the disc should once more be whole. One stone to the gentle souls that sang in the dark, and shaped the earth between their toes. One stone to the watchers of the woods, the ones who are outside. One stone to the 2 that make one, of air and of sea, and one stone to the keepers of the dark flame, the eternally dark, the mariners. When the time comes for the disc to be whole again, one person will make a journey to the 4 who hold the pieces, and the pieces will be given willingly, because will be no doubt to the righteousness of this person.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Okay, so I got to go to the 4 corners of Arcadia to find these dang blast discs. I got one more book to read. I'm gonna keep all the reading to one episode, so that people can go, I hate your reading. I'm glad you kept the one episode because it's annoying. Get over here. Hey, Minstrel, boogity boogity.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
It's because you don't pay attention to your dang
Can I
surroundings.
see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
Okay, I need...
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask for.
Hurry up!
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to learn about the dragons.
I'd like to learn more about dragons, about the Dragonkin.
Oh, yes. We have some wonderful books on that topic. Stay here.
It seems like I think he's memorized everything around here, so... He knows exactly... He's like a walking reference computer. This man would love to have a modern library. He would lose his mind. He would be like, I can't believe this. Let this man into the Library of Congress. See how he acts. He'd probably lose his mind.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Yes, now hurry up and move. You walk with your arms out like you're afraid you're going to fall over. The last book, Secrets of the Draken by Minstrel Ilyak. Forward. The Draken are known by many names throughout the Twin Worlds. In All Tongue, they are often referred to as the Draken. In some variations of Low Tongue, Draken. In the Southlands, the word Drakich refers specifically to the winged lizard shape traditionally associated with the kin. In Irad, the eternal spirits of the kin are simply called Drak, regardless of their current shape. In Stark, most cultures refer to the kin as dragon, Drash, Drash, Dragon. Though this usually refers to only the winged lizard-like shape and not to the spirit inhabiting this shape. In fact, while in Arcadia, the kin are respected and revered as eternal spirits with the great significance in the balance and the all. In Stark, the kin are mostly creatures of mythology and fairy tales. However, in some Stark legends and scriptures, notably the Christian Bible, the name dragon is associated with the forces of evil, and thus the religious connotations seem to have carried over in a somewhat distorted form. Who or what are the Draken? Why not ask, who is the creator? Or, what is the all? Questions thus asked will remain in perpetuity unanswered, for they are in truth unanswerable. To condense all knowledge of the Creator into one answer is futile, as is any attempt to define the all without describing every single element that makes up the all. So also with the Draken, we cannot answer who is the kin or what is the kin. But we can provide some answers to the simpler questions, the questions that deal with what we see and hear and feel, and what we have been told by the kin themselves. Answers that together may give us, if only the faintest hint of the whole truth, then at least some indication of who or what the Draken are. Born of the emptiness between the stars, reads the 11th scripture of the balance, the scripture of time, shaped in unison with the all, part of the all yet outside the all. Drekchin, note the ancient high-tongue variation of Draken. Why so many variations and interpretations of Draken from culture to culture? The kin have always been shrouded in mystery, and from mystery rises legend and myth. The kin seem content to be seen as nothing but tall tales and figments of a bard's fertile imagination.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Whew. It's a lot of reading. Certainly a lot of reading. It can get your voice practiced, though. Alright, I just basically just read a whole bunch of books. Gained a little bit of knowledge, but I still have no idea what the hell I'm doing here. Is this going to give me another option to what I need to read, or do I need to finagle with something down here? Maybe with that. Find out next time on The Big Man Plays! The Longest Journey. Till then, it's BygPhattyPlus, sayonara. And if they'd had any more books, this episode would have took forever, because it's one thing I like reading about is the internal lore of games. In games like this, I mean, good lord, you should have seen the stacks of books I collected in frickin' Skyrim. Good lord, I had a whole library.